Hi there, welcome back to the channel. Last weekend, I was fortunate enough to be invited by my friend Jordan to the Grand Seiko GS9 experience in Los Angeles, in Hollywood. This is a event for US owners of Grand Seikos, and at the event, 3 Mt Iwate inspired watches were also announced. So I'm going to take you through what the day was like. Please do like, subscribe, comment, etc. to appease the YouTube algorithm gods and help this channel grow. All right, let's get to the watches that were announced at the end of the event. You can see I took some pictures of the watches that were displayed. It was announced around very much at the end of the event, around 6. All 3 watches were inspired by Mt Iwate. 2 of them are US exclusive models, and one is the GS9 member only, which is the Ice Monster. They're all 36.5 millimeter watches, so a little bit smaller than the usual Grand Seikos. They're all also manual wind, and they have the 9S64 movement with 72 hours of power reserve. Unfortunately, the back are all solid case back, and the MSRP is $5,900. The dark gray mossy green, which is the watch to the left, is inspired by Mt Iwate in early summer. The pink one is also a US exclusive. It's Mt Iwate in the late spring. I would say this is the most striking one. It's super vibrant pink and a very verdant green second hand. It's almost like a watermelon or strawberry reminiscent. And the one on the rightmost is the Ice Monster of Winter in Mt Iwate, and this is a watch you can only get if you're a member of the GS9 club. So yeah, what is this actual event? Grand Seiko Corporation America actually puts this on once a year. I think the last couple times were in New York. This is a national event for members of the GS9 club, and it is the first time it is on the West Coast, and it's got lots of stuff going on. They got demonstrations, they got panels, there are pieces on display, and lots of interesting thing to do. And you can see what the event looks like. It takes almost a whole day. It's like, going on a day at work. It starts at about 11 and it went until 6. So it was a very full day, but Grand Seiko made a really fantastic event, and you had something to do the whole time. Grand Seiko USA President Bryce welcomed everyone to kick off the event right around 11. Then it was to brand curator Joe Kirk and one of the 10 micro studio master watchmaker, Mr. Komatsu, who flew all the way in from Japan to assemble and talk about the 9RA2 caliber. Joe talked about the 20 some odd years that it took to bring the spring drive to market and the entire development process, and as well as the new IC packaging and other improvements of the 9RA2 movement 5-day spring drive that powers the White Birch and Lake Sua models on stage. And at the same time that Joe is doing this presentation, Mr. Komatsu on the other side of the stage was actually putting the movement together as Joe was speaking about it. The engineer in me really appreciated that, and Mr. Komatsu actually finished putting together the movement before Joe finished like his last 2 slides. So it was really great to see what a master Mr. Komatsu really is in terms of watchmaking and his position at the micro studio. After seeing the master watchmaker on stage, one of the hands-on activities you can participate in is actually watchmaking, put on by the Horological Society of New York City. It takes about 15 minutes, and it's a snippet of a course that the society puts on for its members. You get to take out the balance wheel and hairspring assembly and put it back in. It's much harder than it looks. You're essentially trying to seat a tiny slinky with a tweezer, made extra hard if you had coffee that morning.
Straight with that bridge. So you actually want to rotate it?
In the background is.
Hello. Hey, how are you? I'm Alex. Okay. Pleasure.
Do we have to wait till it stabilizes, or just kind of let it?
Actually, as you come down closer, it will stabilize once it touches the bridge.
Oh my God, there's like...
Let's say...
So as much as possible, you also want to be holding the movement holder. Yep, with your left hand. There you go.
Oh.
Yeah, this is the fun part.
You're gonna place it in, and then you're gonna rotate the movement with your left hand.
Oh, all that coffee earlier.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, that is. Oh, trying to seat that while it's wiggling
Exactly.
is not easy. Oh, nope. So after trying your own hand at watchmaking, you can also see a master watchmaker do the exact same thing, but way, way, way better up close. And so you can see what an amateur does or how an amateur handles things and what not just a professional, a master and a watchmaker instructor from Grand Seiko's Micro Studio and how they do it. And here is Mr. Komatsu assembling a 9RA2 movement in front of, well, you can't see, but dozens and dozens of people. You can see how incredibly precise and accurate his movement, his hand movement is, picking up the tiniest part in one motion and playing it right where it needs to be. No shaking, no fidgeting. He makes it all look so easy when it really isn't. And especially, before he started, that green sheet was full of parts. Really big ones and the smallest ones. Just an absolute amazing demonstration of his skill and technique. After seeing a master watchmaker like Mr. Komatsu do what they do best, you do start to wonder what other watches they're making in the Micro Studio. And in another room off the main space, Grand Seiko brought along some very exclusive and very expensive pieces from their masterpiece collection. On the left, you can see the two precious stones masterpieces, and on the right, a gold and platinum versions. All are powered by the 8-day manual wind 9R01 movement. And in the picture in the middle, you can see the rear bridge is all one piece, and it is actually shaped, if you tilt your head a little bit, resemble Mount Fuji, and the jewels are all cities within that region. Grand Seiko Corporate was also nice enough to bring along one of the 20 Grand Seiko Kodo Constant Force Tourbillon watches that was released last year, the SLGT003. And you can see the incredible engineering and craftsmanship to build something like this. Grand Seiko also brought along a few Credors for us to check out. They use a specialized version of the 9R01 8-day spring drive movement. And the Credor, if you see the main one right there on the top here, you can see that the barrel for the main spring is actually decorated, or has it's cut into a flower shape. So you can actually see if the watch is wound or how much the watch is wound or not wound, because you can see the spring inside. And on the lower right hand side, you can see that the straps for these Credors are actually made in Italy. And on the next slide, you'll see the two Credor repeaters and Sonneries in action. Again, absolutely incredible show of engineering, design, craftsmanship, and just absolutely executed to perfection in one package that you can happen to wear on your wrist.
Should eventually go.
Yeah, you can hear it right there.
Incredible, right? That was cool. Unfortunately, there's such limited time. It's hard to get through all of these watches, but definitely take a look.
There were also a lot of displays and exhibits throughout the well-planned-out event space. There was a much larger than life-size 9RA2 spring drive movement. And then next to it, the 10 steps that it required to make a snowflake dial. And then the 200 plus components, large and small, and the very small, that goes into making a Grand Seiko watch. On the left, you can see the lacquered dial from a masterpiece collection watch, as well as the incredibly ornate container and then the box that comes with it. The photo here, I don't think does it justice in terms of depth of color and the finishing and the craftsmanship that goes into that watch. You really have to sort of go put your nose on the case and really look at it. And the lower right is the first original Grand Seiko from the 60s. And then upper right, you can see subsequent vintage models that they brought along as well. Grand Seiko brought out all of their current models for you to try in a lot of different display cases with their staff. And you can see on the left-hand picture, these are the newly released Katana models. I actually got to try I think the red one. And also turns out Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank also loves the red one. And the last panel before the unveiling of the 3 new models was a fantastic panel made of Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, Gary Schneigar, a New York Times best-selling author, Matt Farah, host of the Smoking Tire, Kelly Yoke from the Watches of Switzerland, and then also Brandon Menachio, editor from Hodinkee. They talked a very wide range, I would say a very wide range conversation, a lot of them about stories, about why they like Grand Seiko, what they see in Grand Seiko. Mr. Wonderful just loves the dials, and just like he said on a lot of YouTube videos, he loves the dials, and he talked about how he just saw Credor in Japan a few weeks ago and he really needed to have it. And Gary talked about how he spent a whole flight looking at his spring drive, and he wears 2, one on each wrist, and it's very calming for him, and he takes it when he swims, and the light that shines off or reflects off the hands and everything, just, it's almost a meditation device. And Matt also has some really great stories about how he got into Grand Seikos the same time he kind of got into watches, as well as memories he had with other folks in the watch world. And then Kelly, as a director of client relations at Watches Switzerland, talks about, her view that Grand Seikos are made for normal human beings to wear, and more importantly, able to buy. And I think Matt also mentioned the same thing. It's not a hype beast or a flex kind of watch, and they also just really appreciate what Grand Seiko brings to the table in terms of value and what they represent, and so on and so forth. And Brendan from Hodinkee, his Grand Seiko was a gift from his wife, so he had also kind of a really interesting view and stories from his side as well. Overall, a really fantastic panel. Of course, at an event like this, you're going to be well fed. There was an open bar, and during the day, you had egg sandos, beef karaoke, and mochis. And during the after party, they had a noodle bar and pot stickers. So everyone was very well fed for the whole day. So you left with a swag bag with a hat, a watch travel pouch, a blue box with a GS9 club pin, and a couple of GS9 magazines as you leave. Grand Seiko put on a wonderful full-day event that fully immersed you into Grand Seiko. The activities, the displays, the panels were all very well thought out. This was evidently a all-hands-on-deck event with many of the New York City headquarter-based staff coming out to LA. The next one sounds like it'll be in their new New York City flagship store. And thank you, Jordan, for making me your +1 to this amazing event. And if you have a chance, if you buy a Grand Seiko and you can go, or if you know someone who is in the club, they can invite you. And if you get a chance to do that, definitely go.